Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Home Rockstar Podcast. I'm excited for today's episode. This is going to be really interesting. We're talking to the president of DC Properties, and what he does is he teaches people how to buy creative real estate. Now, I'm very excited to get into that a little bit more detail on what that means. But first, hey, Daron, are you ready to rock?
I am so excited. Tim, let's rock and roll. This is going to be fun.
Oh, beautiful. Right on. We always start on a good note. So tell me a story of success that we can be inspired by.
Oh, my favorite story of success is my own journey in this real estate game. My mom and brother and sister and I moved to California from Chicago, and they fresh off of a divorce, struggling in every way, single parent household. My mom had to go out and get a job at a dry cleaner. She was the counter clerk at a dry cleaners while I went to high school, then to college. And she worked her tail off at that dry cleaners just to keep a roof over our head. We struggled mightily. That's a book in and of itself, but we struggled. And the beautiful thing is I discovered real estate along the way, and then real estate allowed me, to keep it short, a long story short, real estate allowed me to buy that dry cleaners 15 years later and hand her the keys and say, now this is your dry cleaners, Mom. So that's my favorite success story of probably 1,000 success stories. That's the number one. And there's a whole lot that went into that and led up to that, but to keep it short, because your time is limited, she took that job as an $8 an hour employee, and 15 years later, she was the owner of that cleaners because of real estate and everything that I had learned along the way. Proudest moment of my life, handing her the keys to that cleaners.
Wow. I bet you it was her proudest moment too.
Absolutely, because she was my biggest fan too, by the way. And
Yeah.
I attribute most of my success to what she taught me and instilled in me as a 4-year-old.
Wow.
Seriously.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, okay, so along with those good notes though, there's some things that don't go as planned, right? And I do like
That's another
to talk
book.
about that.
That's a whole book.
Of course it is. Yeah, and I mean that's what keeps people out of this game in the first place. They're scared to fail, right? However, with every success, we all hit these bumps in the road, right? So you shouldn't be scared of them. So I'm wondering, can you share with me something that didn't go as planned and what we can learn from that?
Yeah, and I love what you're saying by opening like this, because if people would just simply learn to fail faster, they'll get to that successful lane that much quicker. And you could be disheartened and heartbroken, and there are going to be people that are let down, and people get hurt, and all of those things. But you interview everybody. So you interview a successful person and ask them, have they ever failed in anything? They go, well, how many of them do you want to hear about? They all have failed. Your job is to fail faster, fail more often. I have put together many partnerships where people invested their hard-earned money into something that I recommended we buy, and things have not always worked out. I've been blessed enough to say that about 90% of them have worked out famously. A few have not. And in one instance, we bought a property that we were sure we were going to be able to split the property, build two houses where there used to be one, two shiny brand new houses. We expected to make, oh my goodness, sometimes these numbers are silly, so I don't want to make it unrealistic for people. But there was nearly $1 million in profit to be made. Everyone got in, put their money in excitedly. I'm the team leader. I'm responsible for making this go. And then the city, I'm in Los Angeles, the city of Los Angeles changed the building code in the middle of us getting entitlements. So suddenly, where we thought we could build two 4,000 square foot brand new homes, suddenly they slashed the density and we could only build one 2,500 square foot home. And so everything that we had invested for the upside potential got smashed in one simple city council move that killed the concept. So I scrambled to get everybody back to whole and not lose money. But needless to say, they were disappointed. Needless to say, I looked like the bad guy because I said, here's what we can do. And then somebody else, not under my control, decided that they were going to change the rules. And so that's the bad example of something like that happening. But what I do is I keep my eyes on the rules. And today there are 4 or 5 rules I'm taking advantage of right now that have changed in our favor. Kind of the opposite of what just happened to me, what happened to me in that deal. The opposite's happening right now. There's a massive shortage of housing in the US. Cities like Los Angeles, where I am, are opening up the doors to adding an additional dwelling unit to the backyard of every house. So today, 5 years ago, this didn't exist. Today, every homeowner can add an additional unit to their, at least one additional unit to their property. Every apartment building owner can add 2 to 3 to 4 additional units if they have the space to do it. So it's the opposite of what hurt me and those investors back then. It's actually helping us right now. This is one of our best methods for adding value and helping people become wealthy. Is you buy one house and you can suddenly turn it into 2 or 3, same piece of property. So you essentially get the land for free to build 2 additional income producing assets. Wow. So anyway, that's how, the laws can hurt you and then they can help you.
Well, I mean, could you have known that law was about to change? Like if you had known that it was good, like, was there a way for you to have known, or it just happened?
I would have had to know someone on city council to know that they were going to wake up one day and have this not in my backyard density thing go on. It caught us by surprise. There was no heads up. It was a January 1. This is being enacted. See you later. Sorry. Because at the time you weren't automatically entitled to be able to split a lot and double the number of homes in that space. Mm-hmm. But and so many neighborhoods, the more expensive the neighborhood, the more adamant the neighbors become about, no, we don't need more cars, we don't need more houses, we don't need more people. It's that NIMBY thing, not in my backyard. That's a thing out here. There's all these neighborhoods where people will go and say, no, we don't want more density because we don't want more cars and we don't want more traffic. That plagued building in Los Angeles and many other big cities, Chicago, New York, Dallas, for a long period of time. But then we woke up yesterday and we have this massive shortage of housing. And so now all of these cities have had to reverse field and say, okay, builders, we're going to let you build more. We're not going to worry about cars and parking nearly as much. As a matter of fact, Tim, it's interesting. Cities have now said, if you're in a zone where you're near the public transportation, we're going to let you build even more. So where you might be able to build 2 units on a residential street, if you're near a bus stop or a train station, they'll let you build 8.
Wow.
So yeah, it's because we have a shortage of 4 million units. We're 4 million housing units short in this country. So what does your audience want to be in the next 5 years? Landlord. You want to be landlord. And that's why I'm teaching real estate. I'm screaming it from the mountaintops. Everybody needs to get into real estate because the boom for being a landlord is coming. Affordability is difficult. Very few people can afford to own. Most people are going to be relegated to rent. And if you can put yourself in a position to be the person who rents very good housing to people, you can establish your future. You can set up your retirement. You can set up generational wealth for your kids and grandkids and never look back. And just because it's your podcast, it also happens to be the best stay-at-home job there is, managing your real estate portfolio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, awesome. That's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about practices. Now, I mean, it sounds to me like you had some good role models early on in life to set you up with some good practices. But tell me a little bit more about that in your life.
Well, in my life, it's been interesting. I learned early on that mentors and role models are the shortcut to success. So everywhere I've been fortunate enough to be, I was the squeaky wheel. I was the loudmouth that went to the person and said, hey, I want to learn what you know. Can you teach me? And the shocking thing is, Tim, the mentor figure, 9 times out of 10 is shocked that somebody asked them for the help.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So as a perfect example, my very first job in real estate, I was a brand new licensee, and it was this big, stuffy firm, shirt and tie, suit every day, very difficult environment where I'm brokering apartment buildings and shopping centers, really big things that are owned by really rich people who really don't have time for this 22-year-old kid who doesn't know anything. I go straight to the number 1 guy in the company and I say, I'll give you half the money I earn for the next year if you show me how to do what you do. Do you know he was shocked? Do you know no one had ever asked him that? Do you know no one ever even approached him like that? He said, well, why are you asking me? Like, everybody around here kind of doesn't like me because I go, are you the number 1 agent in the firm nationwide? He says, yep. I go, that's why. He says, all right, well, you're going to do everything I say. And the minute you do something, you fail to do something I tell you to do, you're out. I go, whatever you say, sir. Wow. And I attached my wagon to his engine and learned what he did to become number one. And 3 years later, I was number one.
Wow.
And that's how that works. So mentors are your shortcut to success. Everywhere I go and try to find the number one person in it. Like right now, I'm online is where I live. My Instagram, and I coach now. I teach. I'm a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm modeling the top influencers in the business who are doing the most in the realm of online coaching, et cetera, et cetera. I'm modeling them right now.
Yeah.
They are my mentors, whether they know it or not. They're my mentors. So mentors are everything. If you wanted to start something brand new today, you say, Darren, where would you start? I say, go find a mentor. Go find the number one person in that space and mimic them, model them. And if you really want to be bold, call them up and ask them, could you shadow them for 6 months? Whatever you got to do. Right?
Yeah, that's brilliant. That is brilliant. And you're right. I mean, hey, you even offered that mentor something. That's crazy. Like,
hey, I said, I'm gonna give you half of whatever I make.
That's amazing that you did that. Cause mentors will even help you even for free, right? I mean, it's surprising.
The shocking thing is they'll do it for free. You know why? You're no threat to them. It means nothing. You know what I mean? So was I a threat to him? I'm this kid, brand new, 22 years old in the real estate business, hadn't sold a thing. I never even sold a vacuum cleaner before, much less a $10 million apartment building. He's making $1 million a year or more selling apartment buildings at the highest level. Who am I to him? Nobody. What kind of threat am I to him if he opens his playbook and shows me everything he knows how to do? Nothing. Could I take all his clients away? Never. So there was no threat to him whatsoever. If you walk up to Warren Buffett and say, Mr. Buffett, I'll shine your shoes, I'll bring you coffee, I'll get you your water, whatever you want, if you just let me hang around and see what you do. Are you interested? He'd probably say, yeah. You know what? No one's even asked me that in the last 40 years. Come on, Tim, let's go.
Yeah.
The mentors are not intimidated by you because they are self-made. They are comfortable in their own skin. You don't worry them. Like, you got this great podcast. If you go to the number one podcaster on planet Earth, and I don't know who that is, and you say, hey, I want to know what you do. How'd you become number one? They will tell you, I'll bet real money that they will open the playbook and tell you how they became number one with no inhibitions, with no holdback.
Well, there's a lot of books about that too, about how people get started by doing exactly what you just said, like getting coffee for the guy, in the office. I mean, isn't that Think and Grow Rich is even about that, right?
That's Think and Grow Rich. Exactly. Exactly. And then you just model what already works. There's nothing new under the sun. Well, that's a great statement because there really isn't. Everything you're a musician. Every song took its hook, its riff, its bridge from some other song the guy heard somewhere else. He's not stealing it. He's not plagiarizing it. He's just putting his spin on something he already heard, right?
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I agree for sure. And when it comes down to it too, you actually do learn a fair bit from teaching as well. So there's a benefit to the other side as well, to be the mentor, right?
Well, today I'm on stages all the time teaching people about how to grow with real estate. The funny thing is, by teaching, I get reminded of all the things that made all the difference. Yeah. And if you don't teach, sometimes you don't remember. Yeah. And when you teach, you get reminded and reinforced, saying, well, yeah, that's right. That is how that works. Yeah. And so it's beautiful. It's a full circle thing.
Well, and it's interesting because a lot of success comes from fundamentals, right? I mean, if we look at, sports teams and even musicians, it's the fundamentals, it's the little scales, it's the little things and then you kind of get away from those fundamentals after a while, and you have better ideas. And then when you start to teach somebody the fundamentals again, you're like, oh, geez, got to get back to
that. Ding, 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 ding. That's right. Yeah, you can apply it to music. I played piano and saxophone growing up. And it's those scales, it's those chords. Everything is built of these little fundamental things. Yeah. We just got through the Super Bowl. Blocking and tackling made all the difference in the Super Bowl. No super trick plays, no magical theories. Blocking and tackling. And the team that did it the most or did it the best won the game. Period. Fundamentals.
Yep. And then when you're finding that mentor, then they're the ones that can show you what those fundamentals are in your industry, because they might not be obvious, right?
They might not be obvious. And here's an even bigger one, Tim. They show you what not to do because they made all the mistakes already. That's why I say it's a shortcut to success, because they will steer you around the potholes, around the hurdles that slow them down. And a
Yeah.
lot of times they're really happy to give you, like right now, if you became my mentor, I'd tell the first thing I teach you is the 5 things not to do.
Yep. Yeah,
You know,
absolutely. Right on. So let's talk a little bit about some of the tools that you use to get success in your business. So, I mean, we live in a digital world, don't we? And I'm wondering, are those tools digital or do you still use paper tools?
I use paper tools, I use digital tools, I use regular stuff. This is, the beautiful thing about real estate is, for as advanced and as digital and as technological as it has become, and as you can use those tools to create leverage and all of that, it's
Mhm.
still basic real estate. It's still four walls and a roof. It's still what fundamentally makes that appealing to the person that you're going to try to market it to, sell it to, rent it to.
Mhm.
So from a tool standpoint, I still got to get out there now. I got to eyeball that house. I still got to get out there and say, hey, there's dry rot there. There's termite work there. We need new floors. We need new windows. So that's the hands-on kind of old school Neanderthal things that I use. But
Yeah.
then from a digital tool standpoint, the internet has flattened the entire world out. So I can shop for properties in Atlanta, sitting here in Los Angeles, and make $1 million decision from this computer. And so those the leverage that the internet and soon to be AI that are creating for us give us more reach, more span. So what would it used to take me, you know, 4 months to find, to create $500,000 in profit, we could probably do in 2 days now, because now I can pull up a list. Here's what I'll tell you a quick example. We buy a lot of pre-foreclosures. So we buy people's properties from them when they're in a little bit of trouble. They're behind on their mortgage, they lost their job, something like that. Well, I can now take the list of the 1,700 people in Los Angeles County that were in that situation last month,
Mhm.
and I can feed that list into my AI, and the AI will spit out the 15 most probable sellers. And that AI will then narrow my list so instead of me and my team calling 1,700 people, we call these 15 first. And invariably,
Right.
we'll find 3 or 4 that are ready to sell, just like the AI predicted. And then now
Right.
we got our next 2 or 3 deals, and we short credit it with AI. So we should be able to do 6 or 7 or 10 times the volume that we used to do.
Wow. Yeah, AI is it's such an exciting and also scary thing at the same time, right? Because I mean, it is going to replace quite a few jobs, that's for sure.
Yeah.
However, on the flip side of it, I mean, I've spoken to so many of entrepreneurs that are just their productivity is just going through the roof because of what they can do with AI. And to me, uh, being my mission, I want to inspire more people to be self-employed, small business. I want the small businesses to grow, the local type stuff, right? And, how can these local businesses, I mean, they've got decimated over the last 20, 30 years by these large companies because of what the large companies and the leverage that they had. But now it seems to me like maybe this AI thing is now starting to push that leverage into the small persons, right? And leveling out that playing field. So it's exciting to me that, if you have a little bit of creativity, you can
Yeah.
and some guts, then you can get out
Yeah.
and do something even as just one person, right?
Yeah. So here's the thing: what you know how to do, technology and AI specifically, will help you do better. And it will help you do it to scale. It will help you do it with leverage.
Yeah.
So that now, with AI more than ever before, you can appear to be as big as Coca-Cola. You
Yeah.
can appear to be as viable as Amazon, because AI will afford you the ability to scale, to leverage, to reach as many people as they do. So you never are excused from learning the thing and choosing the lane.
Hmm.
Technology will help you go at 10x the speed. You can
Yeah.
go at hyperspeed and grow so much faster now. No one's off the hook from learning a thing and learning it well.
Yeah.
And if you do that, AI will never replace you. If you do that, AI will put a jet engine on the back of your business and take you to the next level.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, all the disadvantages of these large companies, like, they're not as personable. I mean, they can be highly unethical. Like, there's a lot of major problems with these big, big, big companies that if we had more and more small businesses out there with real people that have good ethics that are out there and just building their business with these incredible tools, and I just think it's going to make the world a better place, in my opinion.
It is, because it's going to allow people like you and me to deliver a more personal experience. So
Hmm.
now when someone mentees with me, they're menteeing with me. It's not a company. It's not some big invisible corporate giant in the sky who's this nameless entity. It's Daron. You're working with Daron, and AI and technology and the internet have allowed me to scale so I could talk to 1,000 people at the same time, and they all still feel like they're working with Daron.
Yeah.
The brand is Tim, the brand is Daron. And now we can deliver the personal touch at scale. We couldn't have done that 10, 12, 15 years ago,
No.
but now we can deliver the personal touch at scale. That beats the corporate giant every time.
Agree. And on the other side of it too, like not everybody is cut out to be an entrepreneur. That's for sure. Some people will be better suited to be employees. However, instead of it being a few companies, right, where everybody's trying to get into those companies, now we have so many small businesses, and we're all going to need a few people on our payroll, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it just is what it is. I mean, once you start to scale a little bit, I mean, you can do quite a bit as a solopreneur, but we'll be able to be the ones hiring into our small businesses. So there will always be jobs out there available. It's not like we're taking away all the jobs and everybody has to be self-employed. They're still going to be there. It'll just be, instead of working for this big conglomerate where you're just a number, now you'll be working for Daron, right?
That's right. That's
And,
right. That's right. And we've leveled out the playing field with technology so that now you can become valuable to an entity or an organization or a customer,
Mhm.
and you don't get outperformed by the big giants,
Yeah.
because technology has made us equals now.
That's right. I agree. So let's talk a little bit about your guest solo now. Let's get into the things that you do, and tell me a little bit more about what does that mean, creative real estate?
Creative real estate just means acquiring real estate, therefore growing your financial ability, growing your ability to have legacy wealth, growing your ability to step away from that 9 to 5. Real estate, in my opinion, is the greatest tool to allow someone to do that. And I
Mhm.
think at the core, all of us, and I say this without hesitation, all of us know that we should own real estate at a
Yeah.
certain level. All of us know that real estate has generated more wealth than any asset class in the history of planet Earth. So you need to own your pieces of planet Earth, because they will generate wealth. And when I'm sitting here right here now talking to you while crypto just got cut in half, and all these people that gave up on traditional assets and put all their eggs in one basket, they're getting cooked right now. And the funny thing is, that's a bit of speculation over there. And the beautiful thing about real estate is it's not so speculative. There are ways to speculate in real estate, but there are surefire ways to make real estate work for you predictably. That's the thing, predictably. If I come to your neighborhood right now, if I come to Canada and visit you, and we go look up and down your neighborhood, we're gonna see a property that's been neglected. We're gonna see an empty home that has been sitting there for a while. You'd be like, Darren, that thing's been empty for like 7 months. There's an owner that's got a reason to do something. There's an owner that might sell to me and you at a price that he might not otherwise have sold for, because he's got a special reason to sell. He lives in a different part of the country. It's a vacant rental. He couldn't get rented out. He's paying a mortgage on it, and it's not bringing in any rent. Well, that guy might just be incentivized to sell me and you that house for $300,000 when 2 years ago it was sold for $500,000.
Hmm.
But the difference in the value and the price point doesn't matter, because all he knows is he's spending $4,000 a month on this mortgage that he can no longer afford. So he will do the unlikely thing, which is sell it to me and you at a price that makes total sense to us. I tell people, I don't buy real estate, I buy situations. That's a situation. You see, there are people I buy from the 4Ds, Tim, people who are in distress, people who are in divorce, people who are in death situations, and people who are dissolving partnerships. The 4Ds are where the motivated sellers exist. What does a motivated seller do? He sells for less than what the market would normally bear, because he needs to sell. He doesn't want to sell. He needs to sell for a reason. And that's who we buy from. So I teach people how to creatively buy from those people. So if I show you how to buy a $300,000 home that's really worth $500,000, but the guy sold it to you for $300,000 because he had another reason. It wasn't money. It was another reason. I can't afford it anymore. Or my mom died and I can't take care of that house. And he'll sell it to you for a disproportionately low amount, affording you the ability to clean that house up and make $200,000 in profit just because that guy had a special reason to sell. I teach people how to find those properties and then how to structure a deal that's a win-win situation for you and him, even if you don't have cash, even if you don't have perfect credit, even if you haven't done your taxes for the last 3 years. There are ways to acquire properties that are different from the traditional down payment, qualify for the loan, and get a 30-year mortgage. There are 10 ways to acquire properties that don't involve any of that. And that's what I teach people how to do. And most people don't know that these methods even exist.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I know that with physical assets, there, you know, especially real estate, it's something that'll never go to zero. Whereas something that's digital could potentially go to zero. You could lose your money, but you're never going to lose it all. Yes, the market might drop, it might half and all that stuff, but everything's kind of like everything works together. So as these things come down, so does everything else. So you know, but really, that's one of the things is even a rundown house on a lot, it's still worth something, right?
It's still worth something, and even that rundown house on a lot, if cleaned up, is rentable. It's rentable. It's sellable. It's an asset that it's hard for it to go to zero. I got a terrible example. A really good friend of mine back in the .com boom was putting every penny he had in AOL. And when it was at like $99, he was all excited. And then the .com bubble burst and it went to 99 cents. And he lost everything he had built up. And the point is, it's not that crypto is bad. It's not that stocks are bad. It's not that commodities are bad. It's just that they can fluctuate in value and price. And they theoretically could go down to a penny. So therefore, there's a certain amount of gambling you're doing that should be hedged. I don't say don't buy crypto. I say you should buy crypto with your real estate profits.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I mean the risk can, give you a big reward, but it also could give you a big kick in the butt, right?
Let me look. Bitcoin is at 66,000 right now. 4 months ago it was at 124,000.
Yeah.
Come on. Some people are getting smoked right now.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of those things where I mean if they want to hold it, it's probably going to go back up again. That's great.
Hopefully they can.
Yeah. However,
here's the dangerous part though, Tim. A lot of people leveraged into those positions, and when it hit a certain number, they get automatically liquidated. See, that can't happen with your real estate. So you just got to be careful.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point too. So now tell me a little bit more about how do we learn more about you and your business, and how do we learn about, becoming a mentee of you?
Well, you can chase me down like a lot of people do. Everything I have is just my name, Daron Campbell. So my Instagram is Daron Campbell. My Facebook is just Daron Campbell. My YouTube channel is Daron Campbell TV. And you can go to Daron Campbell, DaronCampbellCapital.com is the site. Pretty soon, DaronCampbell.com will be a brand new site we're building. But you can find me that way. So anybody can DM me or chat with me via any of those methods. And we have multiple mentorship programs. And the key about the mentorship program is we just shine a light on the blind spots, Tim. We show people that there is a way to get from wherever you sit today, whatever your money situation is or your credit situation, there's a way for you to get to your first investment property. And that's what I do. I help people get from wherever they are to owning real estate. Because once you're in the game, all kinds of doors open up. Once you bought that if we bought that property in your neighborhood that's worth 500 grand, and I helped you structure a creative deal where you bought it for 300 grand, immediately you can refi and pull 100,000 or more out of that property, cash in your pocket. Wow. Immediately you could turn around and resell it at market for $500,000. Immediately you could lease that property out at a rental number that probably exceeds what it costs to finance that 300 that you paid. So there are many ways to monetize if you buy the right way. I just teach people where to find them and how to buy them the right way. And that's what the mentorship's all about.
Well, and what I like about this is that it's another way of giving regular people an opportunity to become those landlords because, we've all heard the horror stories of landlords, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And I mean, it's because I mean, it tends to be that the people who know how to do all this stuff don't tend to really give that information away very easily. And however, we do live in an information age where, this information is out there now, and we can learn how to do it. And so the more, like we said earlier about being self-employed, the more employers that we create, also the more landlords that we create that are regular people with good ethics, that are fair with their rent and they're not slumlords, right?
exactly. And the thing is, it's a hedge against being stuck in a 9 to 5 for the rest of your working career.
Hmm.
It's a hedge against being downsized or outsized by
Yeah.
technology. It's a way to predictably grow financially. It's a way to create monthly cash flow if that's what you desire. It's a way to flip and build a nest egg quickly of capital.
Yeah.
And everyone can learn it. And here's the thing, here's the sin of it all, Tim. They don't teach. I have a degree in economics from UCLA. Do you think they taught me anything about cash flowing real estate while I was learning all those economic principles? No.
Wow.
Did you think they taught me about how to finance a home? No. They're teaching all these other things and we're learning all these other things, but they're not teaching us the things that will get us off of the treadmill, off of the hamster wheel and out of the rat race. And
Yeah.
so I got to be the town crier. It's me. I'm going to be the one. I'm going to pull the curtain back and I'm going to show regular people. That's the key. You said it. Regular people how to play this game and graduate.
That's awesome. And it's the same everywhere. I mean, they don't teach us how to be self-employed. That, like you said, I mean, they're not teaching us how to get off the treadmill, right? And
Well, because
hey,
who does it serve if we do?
yeah.
Think about it, right?
Yeah, it's the people running the treadmill that are running our schools, right? So, it's a
Bingo.
matter of now we can, and yeah, AI, technology, all these things, the internet, they're all ways that we can now communicate with each other. So as we learn things, we can share those knowledges with other people, and all of a sudden now we've got our own school.
Exactly. Now, why do you think a billionaire like Bill Gates, for instance, will donate $500,000 to Harvard
Yeah,
when he dropped out of Harvard, right?
yeah,
But guess what he's doing? He's feeding his employee pool. He wants to keep everyone on that hamster wheel
yeah,
working for him.
yeah,
They're not teaching you how to break out and start your own. They're teaching you how to be an employee and keep that employee mentality. And I want to refute that. I want to crush that system and make more people owners. We're not teaching our kids ownership. At
yeah.
the dinner table, we should be talking about, yeah, go ahead, get educated, get that job, but then figure out how you can own that company or go start your own. That's
Yeah.
what we ought to be doing.
Yeah, it does surprise me that people think that the people seem to have this idea that these big, companies, people, very, very wealthy people are giving money as a charity to these places. Come on, they're buying the influence, right? No big company
Follow
like
the
that.
money.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Follow the money and see what he's getting in return for that check. The funny thing is, the first job I had right out of college was I got hired by UCLA to help identify wealthy alums from whom we could ask for a big check
yeah.
as a donation. And then that's how I quickly realized that the people who could write the big checks, most of them had gotten their huge net worth from their real estate holdings. That's kind of what aimed me right at this industry.
Oh, that's awesome. So let's talk about music before we end here. So who's your favorite rock star, Daron?
Oh my gosh, where's the list begin and end? I'm into rap and I'm into hip hop and I'm
Yeah.
into that kind of, I'm a big fan of J. Cole, the rapper. I'm a huge fan of his. And then on the other side, I grew up playing the saxophone and the piano. And
Okay.
so I was a giant Grover Washington Jr. jazz saxophone fan, still am. And anything jazz or bluesy like that, I'm a big fan of. And people, you look at my playlist, you'd be like, this dude's all over the place. Because I am. I like it all.
Nice. Do you still play?
I try to. I hired a coach. I hired a saxophone coach. I bought a new saxophone and hired a coach about a year and a half ago. And he dropped me because I canceled so many of the lessons. I was too busy doing real estate deals. But I'm going back. I'm going to get him back because I want to be good. One day, Tim, when I'm just chilling and I got nothing to do but look at all my bank balances and all my properties, I'm going to buy a lounge and I'm going to own the lounge because that way I can guarantee that I can book myself to play every night.
Yeah, there you go. Right on. That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
Right on.
I'm gonna be the saxophonist in the band at my lounge.
That sounds great. What are you gonna call it?
Ooh, man, I wrestled over that. I think it's gonna be DC's place.
Yeah,
This is,
absolutely.
there you go.
Absolutely. That sounds awesome. Well, thank you so much for rocking out with me today, Daron. This has been a lot of fun.
Thank you. I've had a great time. I appreciate you, Tim.
Awesome. To the listeners, make sure you go to workathomerockstar.com for more information. And we'll see you next time on the Work at Home Rockstar podcast.